Hello and welcome to another episode of JoeScentMe. My name is Joe and I am your host for today. Today I'd like to talk to you about a brand that I just discovered recently because my best friend and his wife were on a cruise and they were heading to Bermuda. And yes, I'm going to talk to you today about Lili Bermuda Perfumes. And I got the privilege to try out their entire men's collection, and I wanted to tell you about my experience right here. But first, a little bit about Lili Bermuda Perfumes. They've been around since 1928. Their perfumes are basically the essence of what makes Bermuda, Bermuda. You get the salty, fresh air and the seawater. You get the botanicals that are in the area. And just a great representation of the island of Bermuda. And so this perfume line is a niche line. They have a perfume factory there. They also do tours, and they also do, in the wintertime, I believe they also do a way for you to make your own perfumes. You can go in and take a tour, but then you can also sit in through a master class and then design your own perfume with the owner, Isabel. It seems like a wonderful company and I can't wait to tell you about the perfumes. So I'd like to start right now. So when you go to Lili Bermuda Perfumes, you're gonna notice that there are a bunch of perfume for both men and women. And they may be hard to decide. So what they've done for you, both the ladies and the gentlemen, you can buy a set called the Discovery Set for men or for women. And it comes with 8 tiny little vials of their most popular perfume for both men and women. After you try on each of the perfumes, if you like one of them, you can then redeem with a certificate a full-size bottle of whatever you want. And they'll ship it to you for free. That's included in the $125 price. And I'll include a link down below to the perfume set and also to the perfumes that I've sampled as well. So my perfume set came with 8, and I'm going to start with the first one. On day 1, I tried out Cedar. Cedar was what I expected it to be because actually the cedar wood itself is popular on that island. So it was a very woody fragrance. It was aromatic as well. It was definitely on my top list of liked fragrances because I tend to gravitate towards the woody kinds, the spicy kinds, the sweet kinds, things like that. Cedar starts off with a top note of bergamot and juniper berries. The heart notes are rosemary and Bermuda cedar, and tobacco is in there as well, and a little bit of lavender as well. So that's where you get your woodiness from, right there in the heart. The tobacco gives it a nice smokiness as well, and sophistication. In the base notes, you have your patchouli and your leather. It does dry down completely into a very nice evening, sophisticated fragrance. Definitely a great date night fragrance, great evening fragrance as well. On day 2, I tried out Navy. And Navy is a fresh, clean, soapy kind of smell. I don't tend to gravitate towards that kind of fragrance. However, majority of the fragrances in the men's collection are fresh, clean, very summery, perfect for warm weather because that is typical in Bermuda. It starts off very similarly as the Cedar did with the bergamot, lime this time. They've added lime in this one to give it a little more punch on the front end. And you also get the juniper berries as well on the top. And in the heart notes, you get your basil, which is sort of your herbal. Then you get neroli, which is very typical of the fresh scents that are out there. And you also get pellegrine as well. So you get all of that in there, and again, that still keeps it fresh. And on the base notes, you get vetiver and benzoin. On day 3, I wore 32 degrees north. Now 32 degrees north, I actually really did like a lot. It was not the fresh generic scents that I'm used to. It reminded me of a couple that I really liked back in the day, and I still do now. When I was in college, I wore Tommy Hilfiger, and then I graduated over to Acqua di Gio. I think this is sort of a merge between the two. Very fresh, Also very clean, but it has a nice, very nice masculine freshness to it. So in the top notes, you get your mandarin, which is your citrusy notes. You also get your basil again, and now we get mint. And that minty freshness is a great way to start it. Mint is a very popular top note in the fresh category of fragrances. You can totally smell that at the beginning of this. In the middle notes, we have your lavender, we have some marine notes as well, and we have neroli. And in the base notes, we have some woody notes, which again, this is what I like. I like things that gravitate to the woody and the spicy. So we have the Bermuda cedar again, so it makes a comeback again in this. And we also have some musk notes, white musk that is, and then some other woody notes as well. So you do end up with a nice woody dry down. On day 4, I did 64 degrees west. And this time you still end up with a fresh smelling perfume, but it's a little different. It's a little different twist on that as well. The front end of this thing has Suriname cherry leaves, as well as ginger, and as well as grapefruit. So you get the citrus, you get a little bit of sweetness from the cherry, and you get a little boost of energy from the ginger. And then in the middle, we end up with a herbal aromatic thing going, because we now get into some herbal stuff as well in the middle notes. You also get into the cedar. Again, the cedar makes a comeback. Cedar is very popular out there, so you're gonna notice cedar being a big part of this, as well as neroli. But cedar is another major player in this middle note, as well as sage. Sage is also part of this, and that's what gives it the herbal aspect. And in the base notes, we have vetiver and we have patchouli. And now we move on to day 5. Day 5 is Summers. Summers, spelled S-O-M-E-R-S, by the way, not Summers, S-U-M-M-E-R-S, but Summers is one that I really was anticipating the most. And because I went ahead and looked to see what's in each one of these, just to kind of get an idea to see which one I would think that I would like. And I was not wrong. Summers is my favorite one of all of them. And here's why. Summer starts off with the spicy notes of bergamot and cardamom. So you get a very different twist to the opening notes. There is still a little citrus in it, but it's minimalistic. It's just enough to give it a little bit of pop when you first put it on, but it's very minimalistic. It does start off spicy. Then we go to the heart, which has some woody and boozy elements. The heart note in this is, you guessed it, Bermuda cedar. And this time we add rum, which, hello, we're on the islands. Why not have a little bit of rum to mix this in? And then we also have tonka bean, and anytime I see the word tonka bean in any fragrance, I tend to go for it, because I have quite a few fragrances that have tonka bean in it, and I just love what tonka bean does to these fragrances. Then we end off with a powdery, woody scent. So you get amber, you get your bark from certain tree woods, you get also dark wood and different things that are in there, and that's how you end up with this very powdery, ambery, dark, nice scent. This is a great date night fragrance. This is also a great evening fragrance, a great winter fragrance. This was definitely my favorite. All right, moving on to day 6, fresh water. Fresh water is exactly what it says. It is fresh, it is crisp, it is refreshing, it is very citrusy. In fact, it starts off being very citrusy, with the top 3 notes being all citrus fruits, clementines, grapefruits, and lemon. And in the middle, we get the neroli, we get the petitgrain, and we get the rosemary. So we get the herbal part, we get the other stuff as well to give it that really fresh scent. And then we end kind of warm with woody and incense in there. So we end up with kind of a warm smell towards the end. This was really a nice surprise. I actually did like this one a lot as well. All right, so now we go into day 7, which is Southwater. Southwater was another great one. I don't think any of these things disappointed me at all. Southwater was yet another really good one. The thing I liked the most about this one is because it totally made me feel like I was on the island. The thing that sticks out the most in this fragrance is the coconut milk, because you just feel like you're on the island. It smells so relaxing, and it's the kind of smell that I'd want to have if I was on an island laying out on the beach and I just wanted to smell sweet, and I wanted to smell like coconut, and I wanted to smell like I was on a tropical island. This is the one to get. Southwater is the one to get if you want to smell like that, and it totally encapsulates the Bermudan lifestyle right there. It starts off with guava, which is a very neat way to start off because it's a fruity note, but guava is not typical in most fragrances. Then you also get some sea salt, and you also get some mandarin as well. So that's where you get the little punch of citrus right on the top. The heart is the best part about this because you get the coconut milk, you get the vanilla, you get the things that warm up the fragrance big time and just makes you feel very relaxed. Very much like you're on the island. And this is gonna be a major compliment getter. And I was wrestling with whether or not to go for this or for Summers, and I was still just torn because this was another one that totally caught me off guard. In the base notes, we have the white amber, we have the white musk, as well as the musk fragrances. So, like I said, just a great fragrance. Probably my number 2 or number 3 favorite of all of them, but it was a tough decision on this one. And finally, the last fragrance, which is on day 8, which is today. This is the last day. I'm wearing today's fragrance right now as I do this video. And today's fragrance is Calypso. Calypso is another great fresh fragrance. It starts off with bergamot and neroli. So you get the fresh stuff going on right at the top again. But then we go into a different area, sort of this grassiness. So we get a little bit of seagrass as well as loquat, which is, I think, something you find in Bermuda, but I've never heard of loquat at all until I read a little bit about the history of the perfume making here in Bermuda. So loquat is an ingredient that they use out there, and it's the heart of this one right here. So seagrass and loquat are the heart notes that are in here. So you do get this grassy, herbal, fruity thing going on right here. The base notes on this thing are your marine notes, so you get the aquatic kind of sea salt air, a little bit of freshness from that as well, from whatever the marine air offers. And then you also get a little bit of the white musk as well to give it a little bit of warmth. That has been my experience with Lili Bermuda Perfumes. And only one comment I had to make about it that I think should be something to be considered maybe down the road. Hopefully our friends at Lili Bermuda see this video and take this advice. One thing I'd love to see is that these fragrances are eau de parfum. I would like at least 3 of these fragrances, my top 3 favorites, to be an eau de parfum concentration, because the one thing that I noticed about these fragrances, and it makes sense because of the environment where you're at, you don't want to be wearing heavy stuff, but I tend to go heavy. I actually prefer heavy. I prefer the heaviness of it because I like things that last longer, and unfortunately these just don't last long. It's eau de toilette, so the expectation for any eau de toilette is that they do not last long. So my only gripe is that I would love to see an eau de parfum version of Cedar, of Summers, and Southwater. Those 3 deserve to have an eau de parfum version, and I believe that it's even worth paying a little more for them. And by the way, folks, the bottles of perfume for what you get, even though they are eau de toilette for this, and then women do have eau de parfum, the value is definitely there because these are very special fragrances. They smell high quality. They do not smell like synthetic crap. You definitely get the essence of Bermuda. So when you get these fragrances, you are transported to Bermuda for a fraction of the cost of what it would cost you to go there to Bermuda yourself. However, I encourage you to go to Bermuda. I encourage you to go check out Lili Perfumes. Definitely go do the tour. Definitely talk to the people there and get yourself some perfumes and try this fragrance line because it is very special. It is really unique, and it's just not your everyday, everybody, me too scent. They're very special, and it's worth doing the try. And so the fragrance that I'm going to end up with, the one that I'm going to get for sure, you guessed it, I'm going for Summers. I'm going to get the fragrance, the full bottle from them, and I'm going to order that very soon. And thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you do like the video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel here. And leave a comment below if you have any experience with Lili Perfumes. I'd love to hear what your thoughts were, and I would love to just talk with you guys. And thank you so much for watching this video. Take care.